Easy now, folks. I've got another viewer response video here because a viewer, Poojar Kieran, is interested in this Eheim auto feeder. He's thinking about going away for a couple of weeks. So he was wanting to figure out if it would hold enough food for the period that he's away, and also if moisture would be an issue. So I always say the best way for knowing is showing. So we'll have a wee go and see what we can demonstrate here. I'm not going to go through how to set it up, all the settings, etc., because I've got another video on that which I'll link at the end if it's of any use to anybody. But I did think I'd fill the hopper up and see how many rotations it takes to empty it. Now that is largely going to depend on this wee slider here. Obviously, the more you open it, the faster the food falls out, and therefore the size of the food is going to have an impact. But Poojar did say he's using micro pellets, so I think we only need to open the slider a wee slight touch. The bigger the food, the more we need to open the slider and the quicker it'll expire, obviously. But like I say, we're going to go with pellets here. I have a couple of tubs of this Fluval Bug Bites tropical formula. It is probably the smallest of all the options, maybe a bit smaller than a micro pellet, but there's not much in it. So we'll use this for our demonstration. The other thing that's going to make a difference is how many rotations per day you choose to set it. Again, you can see that in the other video, but if we figure out how many rotations it does in total before the hopper's empty, we can figure out how long we can make it last. My idea then is basically to set it up and keep hitting the test button until we run out of granules. Might take a while. Oh, hold on. We better open the slider first and kind of judge where we think it ought to go. I think it was Danio's mainly he said in his tank, so we're not looking for big feedings. Yeah, that's way too much there. Gonna need to adjust that. I'll not bore you with that side of things. I'll get it to where we want it. And of course, you guys will need to test it before you set it up on your tanks before you go away on holiday or for a break. You want to know that you're getting the right amount of food to your fish and not too many. So always recommend a couple of test runs before you leave it. Anyway, I'll get this right and then we'll come back. There we go. I think we found a sweet spot. So I've raised it up on these pots of Fluval Bug Bites just so the food can drop down and it's not getting in the way. And we'll keep hitting this button and see how far it goes. I'm expecting big results. 100. 101. It's going to take all day. 151. 199. 200. So look, that's just over 200 rotations, right? So even if we're rotating a drum 4 times per day, which I don't think you need for a small tank of, you know, reasonably sized fish, that's 50 days so far, and there's still food in the hopper. Right, I think I'm going to call it there. Over 220 rotations, and it's still going strong. Look, there's still plenty of food left in there. So, you know, I think it was 5 weeks he said he was going to go away for. I'm saying there's plenty of food. So the next question was about moisture. Now see, because the hole where the food comes out, the slot where the food comes out is at the top, any moisture or warmth tends to travel upwards, doesn't it? So it shouldn't really get inside there unless your room is particularly humid. I would say you're probably going to be all right. designed well enough to not let much in. Plus, you've got the wee ventilation fan as well that activates on every rotation. So, without testing it myself for 5 weeks to see does moisture get in, I'm going to guess that you'll be fine. And to be fair, out of all the options you've got, I'd say this is probably one of the best. That's one of the advantages over these kind of dial design ones. As you can see, you kind of flip up the lid and drop your food into each of the different compartments. It's going to spin around, and you set your times so the food drops down into the tank. But with the hole being situated directly above the water, it can travel up into the feeder, and has done in the past. I did use it for just a week previously and came back to find moisture inside of it and mold starting to grow. So although these are cheaper than the Eheim feeders, I don't think they're nearly as good. I wish I'd put a bit of paper or something under where I was dropping the food. That would have made this job a lot easier, wouldn't it? But anyway, there we go. We've had a look. I hope it goes some way to answering your question that you had. As ever, if anybody's got any other points or insights, any input, you're more than welcome to put it in the comments down below. Anything that's going to help each other out with our hobby is, obviously what we're here for and appreciated. I suppose another wee point for avoiding moisture is always make sure that you've cleaned your hopper out after you've used it, and make sure it's clean and dry before you use it. And also that there's no moisture already in the food. So these pots of bug bites were brand new when I opened them. That's probably good practice if you're going away, especially for more than a few days. I'm not entirely sure what the baby's trying to say there. I think she's got some input, but we'll need to wait a couple of years till we find out what that is. Until then, I guess I'm out. Later. You wanting to say later?